Did we just see anything we just saw? Wow!
Well, I'm by myself, at least to start. It's good to be back. So I haven't done a solo episode in quite some time. It is good to be back. I am Captain Boring. I would normally say alongside AKA, and not CFB3, but me and Simeon were supposed to do this together. He has not texted me, so I just figured I'd go ahead and start. Bob is down on the greatest place on earth. I believe that's what Disney called. If not, that's what I'm calling it now. We are here. I'm flying solo this week, at least for now. Hopefully, Simeon can join us whenever he gets my text messages and gets on. Until then, you're going to have to listen to my voice, watch my face. I would just go ahead and either mute if you're going to watch, or close out and open me on Spotify, because I don't think you can take my face and my voice all at once. I like the voice in my head. I don't like the voice as it sounds when it comes out. I honestly don't know why 88 people are subscribed to this podcast with the sound of my voice alone. I am self-deprecating, and that is a little humor for you. No, thank you everyone who has streamed and subscribed, who listens weekly. Thank you so much. Go follow us on Instagram, 4th and 1 podcast. Follow us on TikTok, 4th and 1 pod. Like and subscribe and share with everyone you know. I think we do a great job here. This is episode 251, I believe, so we are well underway. I'm just checking on the episode number. Yes, this is episode number 251. So that is great. Thank you, everyone who has listened for the previous 250 episodes. I'll dive into week 2 here, and then I'll get going into week 3. I hope to have the betting legs for you. Simeon still hasn't responded with his. I know one, that is Robert's, and I was planning on getting mine. It's been kind of a little bit of a hectic week here to start my week, and it kind of is only going to get more hectic. So trying to squeeze this in when I can, because I do this for you guys, the fans. All right, we're going to start a little bit with a topic, and that is the topic of the NCAA moves the transfer portal finally. So they are getting rid of the spring portal and will only have one transfer portal that will take place in January for 10 days, right after the quarterfinals are done. So right before the semifinals, it will kind of be in that 10-day period in between the quarterfinals and the semifinals. This is something that the NCAA is a day late and a dollar short with everything, right? We have covered that multiple times on this podcast, and that is just who they are at this point. So everyone has been saying this forever. We don't need 2 transfer portal windows. You need one. We don't need 2. You need one. You don't need 2. You need one. Well, what do? About 4 years after the fact, they give us one. Now, we have always said here on the podcast, some other podcasts, some other people have said, you don't need the winter one, you need the spring one, and the spring one only. However, they went with just the winter NCAA transfer portal. And I'm just pulling it up now. And I do apologize. Normally, I would always pull this up as people were talking, but that is not the case today because I'm by myself. And Google isn't helping. Finally, like, you type in NCAA transfer portal and you think it would come right up as the first article. But no, of course, you got to type in new rules. Okay, so major changes coming. 10-day period that opens in January 2nd, one day after the quarterfinals are completed. It will be voted on October 1st, but that's the rules they are proposing. They will also do away with the spring window, as I currently said. In 24 and 25, the winter transfer window was December 9th through the 28th, far too long, and the spring portal was 16 through 25. So they are getting rid of that spring one. The college football semifinals will be held the 9th and the 10th, while the national title game is set the 20th. So basically, the portal will be open the 2nd to right after the semifinals. This is great for everyone involved. Unfortunately, kiddos, if you're going to sue over this, I'm sorry. I'm taking the NCAA side. You can't have everything you want in life all the time, okay? We need some sort of structures and rules. The NCAA finally is giving us that. And so I'm going to praise them for that structure that they are giving us. Yes, it is 4 years past due, but at least they're here giving it to us now. I also think that this will help when coaches get fired early in the season, and then coaches leaving and kids jumping in the transfer portal. This kind of helps. Hey, nothing's really going to take place until this 10-day window on January 2nd. So there's no need to rush and fire a coach so we can hire a coach so we can do this, then this, and so that we can start getting transfers in and we can see who's in the portal. We can let the season play out. After conference championship games, we can fire people, or after the season finale for those really bad teams, we can fire people, we can hire new people, we can let people get through the quarterfinal games before we start really dipping into the carousel, the coaching carousel that is college football, and it can be wild and wacky. All right, enough of that. Let's go ahead and jump into the week that was, and that is week 2. Couple things to note, and why don't we start with the game I quote of the week, and that was number 15 Michigan at number 18 Oklahoma. I gave this a few days. I wanted to do an instant reaction, but I just was too in my thoughts about it. I wanted to really see what other people said, see if I was thinking irrationally, because I feel like I'm thinking pretty rationally about this situation. First and foremost, congratulations to Oklahoma, and congratulations to John Mateer. John Mateer is an excellent quarterback. I did not know this about his game. He is an excellent quarterback. He is tough. He is rugged. He plays with passion. He plays with a moxie. He plays with a passion and love for the game that I absolutely love to see. He's really brought life back into that Oklahoma program just in the 2 weeks he's kind of been there on television. He is an excellent talent. Kirk Herbstreit was comparing what he does for the Oklahoma program to Baker Mayfield in just the passion and the leadership and everything he brings in. And I agree. Based on what I saw Saturday night, I absolutely love everything John Mateer brings for the Oklahoma program. Now, on the flip side of this, and I'm thinking how I want to go. Do I want to talk about Oklahoma, or do I want to talk about Michigan first? I'm going to stay with Oklahoma. Oklahoma, you need to find a run game other than John Mateer. He carried it 19 times for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. He was excellent. Wink Martindale did not adjust to the quarterback power, the quarterback run game all evening. As a Michigan fan, very, very frustrating, but it was working. It was great. It's not John Arbuckle. Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator, and John Mateer, they were both together at Washington State. So this offense is now 2 years in the making with John Mateer. They brought them both in, and it's evident. It just clicks up and down. It was clicking early, first half, up and down the field. Besides kind of turnovers in that first half, and kind of in the second half is the real reason this game was really as close as it was. Michigan did get 13 points in the third quarter. They they had the ball twice in the fourth quarter, once at the beginning, once right at the end when the game was already out of reach. So, Oklahoma, you just need to find a running game with a running back, okay? Because John Mateer cannot carry it 20 times in an SEC schedule. So, John Mateer was the leading rusher, 19 carries, 74 yards. 2 touchdowns. Here's what the other running backs did. 6 carries, 24 yards. 9 carries, 24 yards. 4 carries, 9 yards. 1 carry, 8 yards. Okay, you ran it 40 times for $138, but again, half of that was John Mateer. You're going to have to find a running back to carry the load, or running backs. It can be running back by committee, but John Mateer cannot go through the SEC schedule that is Oklahoma, and it is a daunting schedule. So they go to Temple on 9/13. So they is that this weekend? It is. It is this weekend. I do apologize. Yes, they go to Temple this weekend. Then they're home versus Auburn. Then they have a bye, and then they get Kent State. So here's their meat of their schedule. Texas, these are currently as ranked, so the ranking could change. Number 7, Texas, Cotton Bowl. At number 11, South Carolina. Home versus number 17, Ole Miss. At number 15, Tennessee. At number 19, Alabama. Home versus number 25, Missouri. Home versus number 3, LSU. The last 7 games on their schedule are versus ranked opponents. They have what appears to be the toughest remaining schedule I have ever seen. So they're going to have to find a running game. John Mateer is going to have to learn how to throw with anticipation a little better, because Michigan, why they only had 1 interception, they probably could have had 3. It was kind of that sort of night, and he needs to throw with a little bit of touch. But he is excellent. The Oklahoma program, that defense, Brent Venables has that defense playing fast, playing physical, and playing carefree. They wreaked havoc all night against the Michigan offensive line. And it's really the defense I was used to seeing under Brent Venables when he was at Clemson. And now it is back running full tilt at Oklahoma. So Oklahoma fans, who I hear treated Michigan's fans very nicely. So that's good to hear. Thank you, Oklahoma fans. Should be very proud and should look forward to this. Their schedule's tough. They go 9-3 with that remaining schedule. They should absolutely be a playoff team. However, if I look up at the end of the season and they're 6-6, I'm going to say that's the best 6th-loss team I've ever seen. Now, depending on how they finish, how the games kind of play out, but if they play as they did on Saturday night against the rest of their opponents, this is a good playoff contending team. I would not put them in the SEC championship contending team quite yet, only because of their running game. They need a running back to carry the bell cow. Let's flip this over to Michigan. Michigan got outworked, I think is the best way to put that, on both lines of scrimmage. They played poorly on both lines of scrimmage. Defense played better in the second half, but the play calling was there at times to make plays. The 1 touchdown they had, or it was a long completion that led to a touchdown in the second half, in the third quarter. 3rd and 9, corner blitz comes off, guy gets home, doesn't wrap up. Michigan used to be one of the best tackling teams during their national championship run, and that has since left the building. In these past 2 years, the play call has been right. The players have made it to their correct destination, who they're supposed to tackle, who they're supposed to stop, and then they don't make the tackle. There's not gang tackling. There's no wrap up. It is just trying to lower a shoulder into someone and hoping that they fall out of bounds. That did not work Saturday night against John Mateer, and they paid for it on several occasions. I think that gets cleaned up in film. I don't know. I'm not a football guy, but I've never played football, I should say. I enjoy watching football. I think that gets cleaned up. I think coaches use that as motivation. If they do not, people are getting fired. I guarantee it, because the play calling is there. Wink took some chances and it burned him, and then he took some chances and it should have been turnovers, 4th down stops, etc., etc. All right, let's get to the offense and Bryce Underwood a little bit. 2 schools of thought. And I'm hoping one is true over the other. And so here are the 2 schools of thought. The first school of thought is that they went in, and Sharon Moore knows that this game is not the end-all be-all of the Michigan season. Playing a non-conference on the road with a true freshman quarterback is not the end-all be-all. You need to be up and ready by Big Ten schedule, and you really need to be going at the end of your schedule against Ohio State. Okay? So protect your true freshman quarterback. Yes, he acts like he's a grown adult. Yes, no pressures, nothing is too big for him. He still makes mistakes. So protect him and his confidence now. Don't make him, put him in a position to lose the game. Make him manage the game, keep the game close, and maybe have a chance to win at the end. That's the first school of thought. The second school of thought with Bryce Underwood is you're brought him in, you're paying him all this money. He appears to be a generational talent. That's what they keep throwing around. I don't think you can be a generational talent or deem that until you've done something, right? But he appears to. He has all the physical trait, mental trait, attributes, all that. I just talked about that. Let him throw it. Let him try to cook a little bit against the defense. I am going to hope and I'm going to assume they went with the first one. They wanted to run the ball, play good defense, force some turnovers, have Underwood manage the game and not do anything to lose the game because they know that playing at Oklahoma is not the end all be all. They get Oklahoma next year at home, so that can be the revenge game or whatever. It would have been nice to win. And obviously, they were going in with the idea that we're going to play good defense, we're going to run the ball, we're going to force turnovers. Underwood's going to manage the game really well, and it's going to translate into a win. But I think that they just wanted to not shake his confidence because Brent Venables is now 22-5 against freshmen and redshirt freshman quarterbacks. He eats freshman quarterbacks alive because he will show them one thing pre-snap and one thing post-snap. It was also glaringly obvious that Michigan needs a vertical passing game. Okay? Now, I think some of that has to. I did not agree with some of the play calling in the second half. I thought that they should have gotten in 2 and 3 tight end personnel more, like it was on the long 75-yard touchdown runs that Justice Haynes hit in the second half right off the bat that gave Michigan life in that third quarter. I did not like the play calling in terms of everything was short, nothing was vertical until it was too late, and then Oklahoma knew that. However, Oklahoma's defensive line just outworked Michigan's offensive line, and I really was anticipating that Michigan's offensive line was going to be a little further along at the starting point than what it was on Saturday night. Not saying they can't get to that point, not saying they won't get to that point, but I was kind of unimpressed with Michigan's offensive line. When they needed to run it, they could not. The holes that they needed to open, they did not. When they needed to protect Underwood with some of the play calling that was good with a vertical passing, they did not. They collapsed the pocket. All the captains for Michigan either got hurt or just played very poorly. Marlon Klein was out early with an ankle injury, so that definitely hurt their passing game. I'm not sure if Jayshon Barnum snapped his Achilles tendon. I can't find anything, but late in the game, they're going in. He makes a tackle, and then he's grabbing his calf. And when I'm watching the replay, it looks like that Achilles tendon snaps up into his calf. I could be wrong, but he went out. Crippen just got absolutely worked by the nose tackle of Oklahoma all night long, forcing Bryce Underwood in. And then Bryce Underwood is a true freshman. So this is not the end all be all. I think Michigan has a chance to still go 9-3. Their schedule does not on paper seem daunting. They get Central Michigan this week. I'm hoping that is a big time dub, a 30-point dub. We'll see. Then they go to Nebraska without Sharon Moore. Could be a tough one. They just hung 69 on Akron. I understand it's Akron. Sorry, Uncle Kevin, but it's Akron. Okay. Then they get Wisconsin at home. Luke Fickell might be fired after that game. They have to go to USC. They just hung 59 on Georgia Southern. Their offense is cooking. So the defense needs to quickly get into shape quickly. For those of you who couldn't hear that, I was snapping. They get Washington at home, appears to have taken a step back. They're at Little Brother, who appears to be much improved. They had a double overtime win in probably a game of the week that no one was paying attention to against Boston College Saturday night. Purdue, I think, is going to be real bad. Northwestern is real bad. Maryland's not great. And then it's number 1 Ohio State at home. So I think that this is just a tailor-made schedule to possibly go 9-3. There are 2 losses in there somewhere. Bryce Underwood is a true freshman. At some point, they're going to say, fine, we need to let him cook and let him make a mistake. I hope. Because if the answer is you that they brought this 5-star freshman and paid all this money in and then wanted to play 2024 Michigan offensive football, which is just run the ball and not lose the game, that's not going to work. And someone's going to have to be dismissed. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I need a more open offense a little bit, and I need you to use Bryce Underwood's talents where Bryce Underwood is very talented. So that's where I will leave it. Oklahoma's wonderful. They should be ranked higher than what they are. John Mateer is wonderful. Love him a lot. Bryce Underwood, the game plan was to protect him. In my mind, and we'll see what they do moving forward. Okay, let's move on here and look at some of the other games. Illinois-Duke. Illinois-Duke was in the 12 p.m. slot, and it was, well, a tale of 2 halves. First half, it was 13-14, and I really thought that Duke outplayed Illinois. However, Duke had turnovers galore. They had 4 fumbles on the day and lost all 4, and then Darian Mensah threw an interception on top of that. However, they were moving up and down the field, but it was the turnovers that prevented them from winning this game. They got blown out 45-19. So you're thinking, Captain Boring, what do you mean they outplayed? I am not impressed with Illinois, with the Illini's rushing game. Caden Fagan was 17 carries for 48 yards. He was their leading rusher at 2.8 yards a carry. That's not getting it done in Big Ten play. Luke Altmaier was pretty good, 22 of 31, 296, 3 touchdowns, QBR of 86. Illinois is an experienced team. They are opportunistic on defense. They force turnovers, obviously, and they capitalize off of those turnovers, obviously. However, much like Oklahoma, they need to find a running game from their running backs because Luke Altmaier, he was sacked a bunch too. Duke in the first half, I think, had 4 sacks in the first half. Now that cooled off as the game went along, but they really, really took it to him. Duke had 4 sacks on the day. The Illini had 2. Tackles for loss, Duke had 10. The Illini had 2. Okay, like you're seeing a pattern here that Duke played really good defense under Manny Diaz, but the turnovers really just hurt them, and then the Illini really just capitalized off of them. So, impressed with the Illini's ability to capitalize off turnovers and force turnovers. Not impressed with the Illini running game, and I expect that to hopefully kind of correct itself all the way in. So, we are then going to go to the Cyhawk. Iowa State was almost exactly what I thought it would be. It was a 16-13 Iowa State victory. So if you had Iowa State minus 3.5, bummer. If you had Iowa plus 3.5, awesome for you. Iowa still has a quarterback problem. Simply put, they have a quarterback problem. Iowa State has a quarterback they believe in, Rocco Beck. He was 18 of 27, 134, and a touchdown. He didn't do anything special, but he didn't lose them the game. Mark Gronowski, on the other hand, 13 of 24, 83 yards, and an interception with a QBR of 29.2. Not great. Also, okay, fine. Your quarterback play is going to suck. You need to run the football. Sure, so let's do Iowa for this. They ran the ball 39 times for $131. That's 3.4 yards a carry. They had just over 200 yards of offense. Meanwhile, Iowa State ran the ball 30 times, $104, So virtually the same. I actually thought that stat was a little better. I apologize. I went in to prove a point and actually got proved wrong. But Rocco Beck didn't lose the game. Mark Gronowski did. He was very inaccurate. He did not use his legs well, and it really showed. Fun fact of this game, though, the home team won this game for the first time since 2011. Long time. They went back and forth a lot. So last year, it was a game winning field goal, 54 yards. This year, it was a game-winning field goal, 54 yards, which I thought was fantastic. I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to welcome in the man of the hour. That is my brother, a.k.a. Simeon. Thank you for being here. You kind of saved the people for having to listen to me babble at them for the next little bit.
I don't know when you developed the skill, but you have developed the skill to do this by yourself. So it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, we're 25 minutes in, so
Yeah.
I've been trying to hold it together.
You should have texted me again or called me or something.
No,
That's
I
on
mean,
me.
it's all good. Listen, I respect it. You're a new father. You got responsibilities that I do not have.
I was doing electrical work. I could have stopped what I was doing and got
Okay, fair enough. Listen, you should have just taken it and you just should have run with it. But you're here now, and that's all that counts. Which is great because I'm gonna need your leg later because yours is the only leg for the parlay I don't have.
I was starting to work on that, so there you go.
So why don't you just kind of do that, and then I'll just kind of finish up a recap, and then we will jump right into week 3, okay?
Yep.
So we are going to go down to the upset in the swamp now. South Florida, I had South Florida plus 17.5, so that leg did end up winning. Florida 16. The reaction to this is Billy Napier needs fired. Billy Napier is a terrible coach.
Oh.
We expected way more from Billy Napier.
You're getting this from Twitter? Like that type of thing? Or this is your opinion?
No. This is the opinion from the internet. Yes.
Okay,
yes.
yeah. This is the media opinion. Yeah, the internet
Correct.
opinion. Okay.
Correct. My opinion on this, now I had this in a quad box. Didn't really have this sound on, but I had this in the quad box because this was part of our parlay, right? I watched Robert's game in the quad box. I watched our game in the quad box during that 3 p.m. game time slot there. Trying to keep my eye on everything. Now, did I think Florida would win the game? Yes. Did I think it would be closer than 17.5? Absolutely. But Florida played a decent game. Their defensive tackle got kicked out for spitting on people. What is it with defensive tackles and spitting on people?
They be spitting. They be llamas. They be spitting.
They be llamas. They be spitting and llamas. The South Florida had one interception. They picked off DJ Lagway one time, who was 23 of 33 for 222 and a touchdown and an interception. QBR just shy of 60. Byram Brown, 23 of 36, 250, 263, one touchdown, QBR of just shy of 75. Each team rushed for just about 130 yards. Florida just over, South Florida just after. This was a very even game. I think people are underestimating how good South Florida is right now. And I understand, yes, you have SEC athletes. Yes, you have DJ Lagway. Yes, over the past 5 years, the Florida program has been not what it was under Urban Meyer and then under the guy at UNLV. Help me out. What's his name?
Dan Mullen?
It's not. Thank you. Dan Mullen. I understand all of that. But what I'm saying is sometimes you lose games you're supposed to win, and sometimes you win games you're supposed to lose if you're Florida. If you're any college football team, if you're any professional football team, this is what happens. You're going to have at least one of each a year. I've always said that. In college football, you always lose a game you're supposed to win, and you always win a game you're supposed to lose. If you go undefeated, you've won a bunch of games you're supposed to lose. Michigan won a few in their 3 run of they should have lost at Nebraska in 21. Then they should have won at Michigan State, and they lost that one. In 22, the game that they lost in 22 was to TCU. They should have won that one. And then they went undefeated. But even in their undefeated year, there was a bunch of times they were down in the second half that they probably should have. But that's what good teams do. They come back, they win the game. Now, I don't think Florida played poorly. I do, however, question Billy Napier's, and there's a devil advocate side to this, and I will go into that. I do question Billy Napier. They had the ball with just over 2 minutes left. They go run, timeout South Florida. They go pass. I believe it was, well, I actually have it here. I actually have play-by-play. So let me go here and play-by-play so I can do this. So it was 3 plays and punt. Here we go. So, I'm sorry. It was a DJ Lagway incomplete pass with 2:49 remaining. Okay? It was a 2-yard run, timeout South Florida. So, it's 3rd and 8. If you get a completion, because I believe South Florida at that point had like only 1 timeout remaining. If you get a first down, you win the game right there. Billy Napier rolls the dice, throws the ball on 3rd and 8, incompletion, clock stops. They then punt with 2:25 remaining. South Florida goes incompletion, 13-yard penalty to go backwards, 15-yard penalty to go forwards. Then they complete a 29-yard pass, a 12-yard pass, a 6-yard run, a 6-yard run, 2 timeouts by Florida, 4-yard run, 2-yard run, field goal, good, and win the game. They had USF. All they had to do is get a first down. What I would have done, I would have run the ball, made USF burn all of their timeouts, take it all the way down to the 2-minute, then punt and make them go the distance. I understand Billy Napier is trying to play aggressive and trying to win the game right there because this is a new Florida. He's trying to set the tone. But you're just trying to win games and hold on. Your defense was playing good all day. From what I saw, they played good all day. Did South Florida had 1 touchdown on the day? They did. They had 1 touchdown on the day and a whole bunch of field goals. And I understand a field goal hurts you in the end, but you punt, you back them up, which is what you did anyway. And they still won the game, but they would have had less time to do it. That's my only criticism of Billy Napier in this loss is that you should have run the football down to the 2-minute timeout, punted, and had them drive the length of the field now with a running clock. Because I swear it was first down, UFL, pass interference. So actually they had, so Florida committed 2 penalties, a 13-yard penalty and a 15-yard penalty on the same drive. I do apologize. I thought USF went backwards. They actually went forwards. But I don't think USF had a timeout. I think they may have had 1 left. And the fact that Florida didn't make them burn any is questionable. I don't think Baylor Napier needs to be fired over this, but it does put him squarely back on the hot seat, which I do feel for him because the program is heading in the right direction. But when you're trying to win a game that you should have blown out, at least on paper, the opponent, you got to drain the clock, punt the football, and make them drive the entire field with a running clock. Baylor and SMU was an entertaining game. It was an entertaining game from 7 seconds in when the first play of the game went 75 yards to the house. And then it got entertaining, back and forth, back and forth. Then SMU had a 2-touchdown lead with 4 minutes to go. And so I said, all right, I don't need to keep tabs on this. I put something else in its place in the quad box. And then Simeon texts, oh, we're headed to over. The SMU Baylor game is really entertaining. And I look at it and I go, what is he talking about? This game was over 15 minutes ago. Pull it up. Overtime. What are we doing? This was, from what I could tell, a game that no one was watching that could possibly be a game of the year. Sawyer Robinson, 440, 4 touchdowns, QBR of 91.8. Kevin Jennings, 16 of 22, 300 yards passing, 1 touchdown. 3 passing touchdowns, 1 interception, QBR of 50. SMU ran the ball for 163 yards. Baylor rushed for 163 yards. A very even game. This was a 48-40 time win 48-45 double overtime win for Baylor. And it was a very entertaining game to watch. I did watch both overtimes. It was just so good. Just back and forth. Loved every minute of it. Baylor turned the ball over twice, SMU once. Baylor really had time of possession because SMU was scoring so quickly. It was just bim, boom, 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 boom. Very quick. What you would have expected from a Big 12 game, you got from the ACC and the Big 12. So the Baylor Bears 1-1, SMU now 1-1. I believe they did drop SMU from the rankings. We'll look at the rankings in just a minute. Ole Miss and Kentucky scored way more points than I thought they would. They hit the over. I had Ole Miss minus 8.5, and I thought it would be a blowout, and they were winning by 10, and then Kentucky got a big play at the end of the game and kicked a field goal because they were down 10, so they kicked the field goal and tried to get the onside and go for the touchdown. They kicked the field goal. Lane Kiffin apologized to all the Ole Miss bettors out there, and it was much needed. Austin Simmons did not play the second or down the stretch in the fourth quarter because of an ankle injury. Both quarterbacks were actually knocked out with injuries and did not finish the game. But Ole Miss, in a game against a team that they have historically struggled with kind of the last 5 years, really did a gritty and gutsy win. I will say this about Austin Simmons. They're going to have to find a way to start him faster. He has all the talent in the world. He reminds me a lot of Tua, a little bigger, a little taller, but he had 2 interceptions that let Kentucky race out to a 13-0 lead, and then Ole Miss kind of came storming back. Ole Miss was not stopped if Austin Simmons didn't turn the ball over all night long. Keywan Lacey was excellent for Ole Miss. He had 28 carries, $138, and a touchdown on the game. But credit Kentucky. They hung around in here. I can't believe they gave up 30 points to an Ole Miss team. I can't believe Ole Miss gave up 23 points to this Kentucky team, because this Kentucky team is just the SEC version of Iowa. That's all they are. Zach Calzala was 50% completion, 15-30 for $149, no touchdowns. He had a QBR of 30. That sound like anything? That QBR sound like anyone I already went over? Cutter Boley came in, who is a true freshman. He's, quote, the face of the program. He had a 38-yard completion, kind of, again, at the end of the game. So, credit to Ole Miss. They will be able to go on a little bit of a run here, you would think and hope. Ole Miss's remaining schedule is Arkansas this weekend, then Tulane, who has kind of played them close. Then they get, looks like 4 home games in a row. Arkansas, Tulane, number 3 LSU, Washington State. Then comes the gauntlet at number 6 Georgia, at number 13 Oklahoma versus South Carolina. Then they get a break with the Citadel, then Florida, who's going to be much improved and tough by then, and then it's the Egg Bowl in Mississippi State.
The Citadel.
Shout out the Citadel. Mike Gundy is going to be fired from Oklahoma State. I will say that. Has to be. Listen, I understand you losing to Oregon. I understand you losing to Oregon by 30. I understand you losing to Oregon by 25. Ideally, you would have kept that within 20. I do not understand you losing to Oregon by 66. Something's got to get figured out in that program. And at this point, over the last 2 years, because they finished 2-10, I think, last year, 3-9, something like that.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad. They're on pace for that again this year. They got absolutely run over by Oregon. This game was not competitive from the very first Oregon drive of the game. Oregon ran for 312 yards. You are a Power 5-4 program. You cannot let anyone run that much on you when you are a high-quality Power 4 program, or at least were at one point in time. Your quarterback threw for 67 yards and had a QBR of 18. Mike Gundy, I'm sorry, has lost control and lost the ear of this team. And he needs to go because of that.
I disagree with you. I mean, I'm sure he has, but like more from the perspective of, I think he's an old school coach. He's
But
an
that
old school
doesn't work.
I'm aware. That's my point that I'm trying to make. I think he didn't evolve, is my guess. I think he was used to recruiting and not having to do NIL. And I think, to his point, he has 7 million. Oregon has 40 million. And all of a sudden, you went from a powerhouse Big 12 school to fighting with Oregon just based off of brand. And now you don't have a brand, and you didn't pivot to figure out how to handle a brand, the brand that is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. I don't disagree with your assessment that he needs to get fired. I think he just needs to get fired for a different reason. I don't think he evolved.
Okay. No, that's not where I thought take was going. That's a great take. No, great. I love that. So you think the team is still listening to him, but it's the talent gap because of NIL.
Yeah, probably is my guess.
Okay.
And the talent gap of, if he didn't involve with the talent gap, he probably didn't involve in offensive or defensive coaches' strategy.
I love that take. That's your best take you've ever had on this podcast. And then
a little bit.
Okay, great. And then finally for week 2, I'm just going to say this right now. I'm not impressed with Penn State. Simeon, I don't know if you watched any of that game.
I didn't watch any of the early games.
It was 34-0. So you are saying, you're looking at me and you're going Captain Boring, that you are just terrible take and you are just terrible at this.
Who did they play last week? It was Nevada last week, and who was it this week?
It was Florida International. It was 34-0. Simeon, it wasn't 34-0. It was 20-0 with 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And they got a one-play 67-yard touchdown. Then Florida Atlantic got the ball back and fumbled the football five plays later, and Penn State went one play 5 yards for a touchdown. It was 20-0 in a game they were favored by 42. They didn't even cover. They shut out the opponent and didn't even cover. And I'm not saying that you have to cover when you're a big time favorite, but I'm saying the 34-0 has to be a 34-0 at the start of the fourth quarter, and then you put your 2s and your 3s and your 4s in. Okay, like Penn State's offense was, and I have it on good authority. I texted a person from work who was at the game, who has a season ticket holder to Penn State, and he agrees. He is not impressed with their offense. Drew Hours, 19-33 for 200 yards and 2 touchdowns. QBR 57. Penn State's vaunted rushing attack did run for 209. But again, okay, they controlled the game. That's fine. But there was no explosive plays from what I understand. There was no feeling good about the offense the entire game. And that's what I'm looking for in a number 2 team of the in the country.
Kayshawn Allen, 24 carries, buck 87, 2 TDs.
Yeah, okay. That's great. You controlled the game, but you didn't. It should not have been 20-0. It should have been 34-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. And I know that sounds petty, but if Michigan was playing Florida, like they're playing Central Michigan this week. Michigan's playing Central Michigan this week. If that game is not 31-10 at the start of the fourth quarter, I'm going to be questioning their offense a lot. You need to have the game firmly in control and kind of feel good about what you did the entire game up until the start of the fourth quarter. I will even go as far by saying that the final score of 23-7 by LSU against Louisiana Tech also falls into that category. Garrett Nussmeier was 26-41 for 237 and an interception, QBR of 64. Honestly, this is a worse score to me than the Penn State score.
I'm teaching ChatGPT how to actually track our all 4th and 1 team.
That's okay. This is the LSU La Tech game. 23-7. You kidding me? LSU, you got to have 30 plus points. I'm fine with the 7. I'm fine if you give up something, but you got to have 30 plus points against La Tech. You ran for 100-28. Again, you did enough. It seems to be you controlled the game. You controlled all the way through. But when you're playing these small teams, it was 20-0 again at the start of the fourth quarter. That's got to be 30-0 at the start of the fourth quarter. That goes for all these big time programs. For me to feel good about where you're going now, I will give LSU a pass because this is off of the Clemson win. But Penn State, this is now 2 weeks in a row that you turned a game on late in the second half of Penn State, and you're just like, this offense is fine. They're moving the ball. They're scoring points. I don't feel good about it, though.
But to Penn State's defense, to play this, it's fair. To play devil's advocate for Penn State, we really don't care until what's their next matchup? Sorry,
When's their first conference game?
Their first big game. When do they play Ohio State? Right.
In 3 weeks at home against Oregon at night, whiteout game.
Oh, finally.
Finally, right? Yeah.
Finally, the boosters picked a good one. Okay, so they have Villanova, another tune-up game, and then Oregon, UCLA, Northwestern.
And then they get a bye, and then Oregon.
Got it. Oh yeah, they do. And then Northwestern, Iowa, Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan State, Nebraska.
And people thought that Iowa was going to be a tricky game. Not with that quarterback play. Not with that offense this year.
All right.
Again,
let's stop your chattering and let's move on. People been hearing enough.
People have been hearing enough from me.
People have been hearing enough about last week. Let's move on to this week.
All right, fine. We will move on to week 3. Oregon and Northwestern will just be why they picked that for Big Noon Kickoff. I don't know.
That's what they picked for Big Noon Kickoff?
Yeah, that's what they picked for Big Noon Kickoff.
What were their options?
That's going to be a 60-point win again.
They have the Big 12. Fox has the Big 12 too.
They have Fox has the Big 12, Big 10.
I mean, Maryland, Townsend, Baylor, Samford. That's it. So I understand why you picked Oregon, Northwestern. That's all they had to choose from.
I mean, no,
that's CBS. My wife.
No, you're kind of right. I mean, you could have done Ohio at Ohio State or Central Michigan at Michigan. At least you get a big brand there. But no, I mean, you're right. I mean, I guess they could have done Oregon State at Texas Tech. That would have been a better matchup.
I'm saying games that were already scheduled for 12 o'clock. Those are the games you could choose.
Oh, well, no, they could have. I think they could have chose any game, and then it kind of falls in order.
Well, I wonder if these first 3 weeks they have less options because they're normally, cupcake games that don't matter, and so they're getting paid, and so the teams more get to schedule the games and what times the games are for than the networks do. Whereas later in the conference season, when it's conferences, you can kind of go week to week. I bet that has something to play with it.
I'm sure it does.
So
all right.
Nothing's on at 12.
So nothing's on at 12, at least in the Big Ten. Some things that are outside of the Big Ten are the ACC. Number 12, Clemson goes to unranked. I should say, Georgia Tech, which I think is a little unfair to the Yellow Jackets, especially with how they started their first 2 games.
Only 7-point dogs, though?
I believe you are right. Now. They are 9.5.
9.5-point dogs. Okay.
And talk about a team who was unimpressive in week 2. That would be the Clemson Tigers, who trailed 16-0 in the third quarter.
And then fought back to lose the game.
Then Clemson fought back to rip off 27 straight points and win the game. But they were
LSU or Clemson?
Clemson last week against Troy, losing 16-0.
My bad. I thought we were talking about LSU. I was remembering LSU.
For this game, this is a very easy kind of game. I think it's a lot closer than the 9.5 points that Georgia Tech is getting. I think that Cade Klubnik still is not clicking on all cylinders. I am very concerned. I'm not concerned about Clemson's defense, but I'm concerned about their offense. And last year, their offense started slow and then kind of came on late. I don't know that they can afford a second loss, and they're not looking real great right now. They're not looking like the 12th best team in the nation. I would have Oklahoma ranked ahead of them. Georgia Tech, I'm still going to pick Clemson to win because I do think they have the better defense, but I think it's a whole heck of a lot closer than the 9.5. Simeon, you want to pick a game? That's basically what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do a game, do a little thing, and then pick a winner and throw it to you.
I was pulling up the schedule. Again, I was trying to use CBS Sports because ESPN is so gosh darn slow. This is what our podcast has come to. Simeon complains about how slow websites are.
And doesn't let me talk about a week that was.
You already did 30 minutes on it, dude.
I was actually finished. I was just going to make one more point about Penn State and then move on.
Okay. Did you talk about Michigan and how upset you were with them?
I talked about Michigan, but I understood what they were trying to do.
Tell the fans what I texted you and Robert at about 11 o'clock.
That you were going to bed?
Yeah. What did I say? And then you decided to be positive for the first time in your life.
For the first time in ever. I'm going to bed. This team's shit.
Yeah. Dude, I watched. This is the one thing we're going to talk about. Then we'll move back on to week 3. Sorry.
Sorry, Mom.
I saw so many people miss blocking assignments, route assignments, blitz assignments.
Yep.
Wink Martindale called a great game. Brett
Covered
Venables
that.
called a better one.
Yep.
Offense was all over the place, trying to find their identity. I get it. In a year and a half, this team's going to be really good. The offense might get there.
Next year, yeah.
I saw what people were seeing in Bryce Underwood. I gave him credit, and I saw him make a bunch of rookie mistakes that I probably would have made too. I'm not a quarterback, but I also don't make $2 million a year. You know?
Right.
I
said that they were trying to protect him because it was not the end-all be-all on Saturday. Losing a non-conference game on the road where you're keeping it close with defense and you force some turnovers, right? And you don't let Underwood make the crucial mistake that, yes, I understand he's 18 going on 35. I understand mentally he is. But there's something that if he would have thrown 3 interceptions, now without Sharon over the next 2 games, I think it does hurt his psyche at least a little bit. Even if he says it doesn't.
I get it. And what I liked that I saw is on his first missed throw assignment to the guy from Indiana. You saw Justice Hayes just lay into him, which I liked. You know, like what NIL is breeding and what, the House settlement is breeding is undisciplined teenagers. Shocker, undisciplined college students. And what Nick Saban proved is that discipline, and what 2023 Michigan proved is that discipline wins games, not anything else. It's discipline.
Right. Ohio State last year. I mean, look at Ohio State last year. Very disciplined.
Last year, recouped, was undisciplined, recouped. So, this is going forward. I'd like to see that there might be some discipline there, but it depends on how these teams adjust. Back to week 3. Yeah, week 3. I got it right. 3:30 time slot. Unless you want to watch Ball State and New Hampshire at 2 o'clock. Tennessee and Georgia is probably the big game there.
Yeah, so
obviously.
Just real quick, Wisconsin, Alabama. Alabama did end up covering against UNL Monroe. You got a winner here.
Oh, at 12. I'm sorry.
It's just real fast. Let me put it this way. Alabama covers the 20.5 or no?
Covers the 20. I don't know. A little bit of spoiler. I picked Alabama outright for what?
I did not realize they finished the game 73-0. I apologize. They covered. They double covered.
But
literally.
They played UNL Monroe, right?
Yeah. Again, yes,
Yeah.
I understand level of competition. I did not expect that.
They were taking their frustration out on Florida State last week.
Sure. They cover or not?
If they cover, Luke Fickell's fired.
Great. Georgia and Tennessee, I do think they cover, and I do think Luke Fickell does get fired.
Yeah.
But later, week 6, right after they play Ohio State. Okay,
He's our so-and-so honorable fiery of the...
He is our Jimbo Fisher. Coach should be fired after week 6.
Yeah.
Georgia, Tennessee, game day rerouted. Was going to the backyard brawl at West Virginia. I'm sure Pat McAfee lobbied hard for that, and then West Virginia lost to Ohio, so they rerouted to Tennessee and Georgia. That was an upset. Number 6, Georgia. At number 15, Tennessee. Listen, these are long-time, big-time SEC rivals. Tennessee finally has a vertical passing game again. Georgia,
They did last year. He just couldn't. He threw all his targets.
Georgia appears again 28-6 over Austin play. That number's got to be elevated. That number should have been around the 45-7 that it was versus Marshall. Georgia, I think, just needs to play Georgia football, and they need to get back to the aggression of Georgia football. Gunnar Stockton was 227 against Austin Prey. He did run for 13 yards. They need to use him a little more.
Austin Perry?
Austin, yeah, you are right.
Okay.
I apologize. Sure. Austin Perry, Austin P. There's no R in it. It's Austin P-E-A-Y.
P-E-A-Y.
I always thought it was Austin Prey. It's Austin Pay? P? No, it's Pay. It's got to be Austin Pay. If I thought it was Prey, it's got to be Austin Pay. So, I think, and then Tennessee finally has a quarterback to hit the vertical passing game down the field. Their defense is a little worse than it was last year. I will say that.
It's
not
Austin
as
P.
Is it?
You pronounce it like the vegetable.
But they beat up on Syracuse 45-26. They allowed 17 points to Eastern Tennessee State University, but they put up 72. I think that this is a very fascinating game. It's at home. The crowd's going to be loud in Knoxville. Georgia is favored by 3.5. I'm actually going to take the home team here. I love the fact that Tennessee has the vertical passing game back. I still think Georgia's trying to figure out who they are, and that's okay. And it's a long season, and Georgia might be the better team long term, but I think Tennessee gets them. Home crowd Saturday, because I have not seen the Georgia defense play with aggression yet. So I am, and this might be the first time on Saturday I see it, I'm going to take Tennessee in the upset on Saturday.
Give me Georgia to cover.
Okay. Great. Love that for everybody. Okay.
We got, okay, question.
Yeah.
Makai.
Sorry.
Texas Tech. I know.
Yeah. What about them? Great offensive team. Right now looks like everything they did with that 10-month transfer portal BS that they did. Great. They look awesome.
We got Oregon State, who, it's Oregon State. It's not anything. Yeah. It's another 3:30.
They're not great.
They're not great. This is going to probably be, they're getting 23.5 points.
Texas Tech to cover. Next.
Oregon lost to Fresno and Cal. No. My question is, what are we expecting out of this team? They're ranked 21st. They beat up on Arkansas Pine Bluff and Kent State.
Yep.
What's the expectation for Texas Tech after they beat up cover against Texas? I agree with you, against Oregon State.
So I expect them to lose to Utah, who I think is really good. Beat Houston. Close win against Kansas. I don't think Arizona State is the same team that they were last year. That's an either way. I expect them to rout Oklahoma State, who probably will be one of the worst Power 4 teams. Close game against Kansas State, beat BYU, UCF, murder them, and then at West Virginia could go. I see a close game, but I see a game that they can win. I expect Texas Tech, with all the money they spent and that whole plan that they did, 10-month plan, I expect them to be in the Big 12 championship game.
I like it. Missouri, ranked 25th after they lost week 1. I'm trying to remember this.
No, they won week 1. They had a very impressive week 2 win against Kansas.
That's
right. Bo Pribula looks just like it looks like he has the same effect that John Mateer has for Oklahoma, he's having for Missouri. He is as advertised, and I'm going to put this on record. He's a little better than as advertised. I expected him not to be this accurate from the pocket. He's exceeding my expectations, definitely. He makes Missouri someone that SEC teams cannot sleep on. Like in the SEC, you don't sleep on anyone, but now it's like, crap. you can't just take a chance that Bo might overthrow someone or Bo might make a mistake, because I don't think that that's going to happen with Missouri.
He seems happy that he's down there they're in Columbia, I think,
Yeah.
Missouri. Let's go to oh my gosh. This
However,
is definitely the 4th-and-1 game of the week.
However, their defense, I will say on this Missouri, might be their downfall this year. But go ahead.
All right,
What's the game of the week?
4th-and-1 game of the week is on the CW network.
Yeah. You like that?
And that is one of the reasons it's on. USF is on the Tour de Florida.
Yeah.
After upsetting their last 2 games. I have to remember, they played Florida week 1, right?
They played Florida last week, and they played Miami this week.
And they upset Boise the week before.
Correct.
Now they're playing Miami, number 5 Miami. USF, they ranked them. This is smart as far as the AP goes. They ranked USF, who looks good, I think.
Yeah, USF looks great. USF again. I touched on this. I think you were in at that point.
Yeah.
But South Florida is not getting enough credit for being a team that people need to pay attention to this year.
This is a Miami rivalry. I just realized that South Florida is a Miami school.
I mean, yeah. I mean, they're right there. They all recruit the same thing. We're going to have kids who played on the same high school teams playing against each other, who played in different high schools in the area. Still, in the
cross-state rival.
They're going to have kids who played on the same high school teams now playing against each other, who played on teams against each other in high school, again with high school rivalries, now playing each other. This is going to be a hard mouth knock game. And Miami, impressive win against Notre Dame and a good defense. They took care of business last week against Bethune-Cookman. Again, I was kind of impressed with that score that they had. South Florida now has been through the ringer 2 straight weeks. Can they get up again for their 3rd straight game? 17.5 is a lot. I do expect Miami to win this game because Miami sees them coming now. Week after big upset, can South Florida get up again? That's the question. This isn't the same old South Florida. I do think that South Florida fans will fill Hard Rock Stadium because Miami fans typically aren't fans. Let's just say they're not the most devoted fans in the world.
Sure.
At least on paper, packing the stadium in. I understand it's like 40 minutes away. There's a whole thing, but I think that plays into the hands of South Florida. I expect Miami to win. I expect South Florida to cover. It might be a leg of the parlay later. So I hate that it's on the CW network, but I also love that it's on the CW network. So I'm taking Miami to win, but South Florida to cover.
This is enough of a game that it might be another upset, if not really darn close, and USF is probably going to win the American if they keep playing like they.
I agree. I agree. I think even with a loss today, because they had the Florida, if it's a close loss at Miami, USF is in the front seat for that final kind of automatic bid.
Yeah, and depending on how other games go, I wouldn't expect them to move down at all. In the rank, I won't expect them to go unranked. I mean, it might be like 20 sort of situation,
right?
With
Unless if it's 45-3, right?
Yeah, unless if it's
their door's blown off, right? Their door's 100%. Blown off.
Another game that might be interesting just to keep an eye on is Western Michigan at Illinois. Again, Illinois hasn't proven anything to me yet, and Western Michigan plays.
So I talked about Illinois and Duke. I'm very concerned with the Illini running game, and their ability to protect Luke Altmaier. I'm not saying that they'll lose. They are 20.5-point favorite. And I'm not sure how good Western is this year.
That's right.
But I will say long term.
I'm eating my words right now.
Yeah, you are. But I will say long term that the Illini, as they get into Big Ten play, they got to find a running game, because if it was what it was against Duke, that's not going to cut it. So
they started Western Michigan 0-2. They started their season at Michigan State with a bad loss, 23-6.
Yeah.
I'm remembering them playing North Texas, a normally very good North Texas team, taking overtime and lose by a kick.
Gotcha.
And the reason I bring that up is North Texas is like an air raid school. and they held them to only 33 points. And I mean, I don't know what was an overtime situation, so it's going to be a defensive battle probably in Champaign. I'm assuming they're.
I just assume away. Illinois is going to kind of overwhelm them there. Arkansas, Ole Miss. This is kind of the first game this season that Arkansas can kind of show up and decide who they want. They scored 52 against nobody, then they scored 56 against Arkansas State. Excuse me, I might sneeze here. Now they take Ole Miss, who's coming off a rivalry against Kentucky. Number 17. They're at Ole Miss. Offenses look good. Defenses look good. They might have something working if they can turn Austin Simmons over early, which the last 2 games Ole Miss has played, Austin Simmons has had early turnovers. I think Arkansas makes this game interesting. This is Mississippi State minus 9.5. Love that for Arkansas. Again, I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take Lane Kiffin. But Arkansas, if Austin Simmons has a first quarter interception, Arkansas might win this game. I'm going to take Ole Miss, but I'm going to say Arkansas hangs around at the end, and it's a lot closer than the 9.5.
Yeah, before we get to the big game this weekend, Vandy takes. Ooh. Yeah, we have to touch on Vandy, South Carolina.
I'm good. If you would just pick, I would just keep rolling, bro.
I'm sorry. Listen, I saw Tulane was playing Duke, and for the memes, I almost changed my pick.
Yeah.
We did not. You guys lost your parlay if you betted with us last week.
Yeah.
I was expecting Tulane to cover 10.5 points against an okay South Alabama team who lost their head coach.
Well, you even got them at 9.5.
And you even gave them to me at 9.5. That is correct.
Yeah. And you were at 9.5.
Not only did they do that, they weren't at 9.5. They were at 8 with like a minute left, and they let South Alabama score.
Did they win the game?
It was only by 3, though. It ended up only being by 3.
Yeah.
So they really stuck to me. They're playing Duke at home. They're getting 1.5 points against the Duke team. Again, a good Tulane team, I think. I'm kind of following Tulane just for the kicks of it. But we want to go over to Columbia, South Carolina, before we talk about the big game. Vandy, unranked Vandy, at number 11, South Carolina. Makai, aren't you a little... Didn't you say you were worried about Lenore Sellers? No, or were we thinking DJ Lagway? I always get them.
I was... that's fair. They kind of... I think they were in the same recruiting class. No, it's more DJ Lagway. Also, where... Oh, there it is. It's at 7:45.
7:45.
Listen, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, I think this is a South Carolina route. I really do. I don't know what it is about me. I don't believe in Vanderbilt at all.
So, ironically, they both played Virginia Tech.
They both played Virginia
Tech is 0-2 because they lost to South Carolina week 1 and Vanderbilt week 2. And the scores were pretty even. So, South Carolina only beat Virginia Tech by 13 points. Vanderbilt beat them by 24 points.
Yeah. I like South Carolina's defense better, and that's I like fair. That they're at home at night, and I like Lenore Seller better than
Diego. Yeah,
than Diego.
I don't hate it. It was a rivalry game against South Carolina State. That's that FCS rivalry game that they play every year. It's gonna be a good game. You gotta give it to them. The question is,
I think it's the cover's 5.5, and I like South Carolina at night, and they just seem different. Their defense seems different. I watched them against week 1 against Virginia Tech, and I'm like, the team just seems different. I think Lenore, yes, has to get a little better from the pocket. Yes, I think they can use his legs a little more efficiently. Yes, the running backs aren't the fastest in the world. They should push Vanderbilt around for 4 quarters. And I think it's a 10-point win.
But is this another kind of like Alabama last year's season where they come in as dogs and Vanderbilt uses that as fuel?
Yeah, sure. I just don't think it's going to happen on Saturday night because everyone sees Vanderbilt coming.
Listen, give me South Carolina.
Okay.
Minus the points. They're going to cover. It's going to be a 7 point. I agree with you.
All right. So now what was supposed to be a ranked on ranked violence, which was Florida at number 3 LSU. Because of the upset now, Florida is unranked, which I think, again, is a little unfair to Florida, but it is what it is, at number 3 LSU. I think LSU defensively is very different than the old LSU teams under Brian Kelly. I think LSU dominates. I think LSU, this game is close for a half, and then the leadership of Garrett Nussmeier takes over, and the defense of LSU takes over at night in Baton Rouge, in Death Valley, or Death Valley Junior, depending on who you ask. I like LSU to cover towards the end of the game. Billy Napier just gets all that fire and coals thrown on his hot seat even more, and I don't think he should be on it. He did. Okay. So I like LSU to win, and I like LSU to cover the 9.5.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this game isn't even close. I would be surprised if this game's like 31-20.
I think it'll be close based on what happened last week, at least for a half. And I think it's kind of like 7, and then Florida kicks a field goal to make it 10 with like 2 minutes to go. So I think they cover, but I don't think it's like a pretty cover.
Yeah, I would expect this game to be ugly in one way or another. Game of the night that is ranked on Rank Violence, Gaia, for you.
Yep.
Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Texas A&M has played nobody. Notre
Dame
has only played, I just realized this, they were on a bye last week. They have only played Miami and lost to Miami.
Correct.
And they're at 8.
Yes. So, well, I have 7:30 here. NBC Peacock.
They're ranked 8.
They're ranked 8. Yeah. So
and they're 6.5 point favorites.
I like Notre Dame's defense. I'm not sold on CJ Carr. Shocker. Notre Dame fans will let me hear about that in the comments. I like Mike Elko against a first year starter, I should say. I like that Notre Dame had a week to prepare. I think this game is very close. I think it's way closer than the Notre Dame minus 6.5. Last year, Notre Dame went into Texas A&M's place and pulled out a W. I think A&M goes into Notre Dame's place and pulls out a 1-point win. Last second field goal, touchdown, something like that. I think Texas A&M is just going to be a quiet, sneaky team in the SEC, and I think they get it done at Notre Dame. I was going to give South Bend. That's the name I was going to say. I think they walk into South Bend and get it done.
Get the dub, and then you get to laugh at all the Notre Dame fans in
the
comments.
Correct. And then what's going to happen Saturday is Notre Dame's going to rout Texas A&M, and then they'll let me hear about it in the comments.
Normally, so I mean to watch.
It's a win-win either way. I think the night slate is very interesting, very intriguing. Simeon, if I'm with you, I think Vanderbilt, South Carolina might have the most intrigue of all the games. I really do.
I'm going to the beach next week. I'll be down hopefully on Saturday evening. You know, I won't be watching the afternoon games. So
this Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday. Yep.
Where? What beach?
Sea Isle City. We're both gonna be in New Jersey again at the same time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we sure are. We're gonna be at the same beach.
Or Atlantic?
Ocean.
Okay. So not as close, but still pretty freaking close.
We're like 20 minutes from each other. Yeah.
Is it? Is it only that far? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Atlantic City's further up. I always forget. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
My bad. So okay. So we're gonna watch the night games. It's gonna be on. I'm gonna have all 4 up on a big TV in the living room, and it's gonna be fun. While my son probably cries, but
as he's doing right now.
You hear it. I have 3 other adults how many other adults to help me take care of in the evening.
Okay.
So
nice.
Here we go. You want to do the parlay, the leg?
What I want to do real quickly is I'm just going to give my top 10 based on the current top 10. Yeah. And then, yes, we will roll right into parlays. This will just be real quick. Listen, I'm okay if Ohio State's number 1. I would put LSU number 1 just because they have a qualifying win right now that I think is better than Ohio State's, but that is what it is.
Yeah.
So I would go LSU. I would go Ohio State, LSU. I would then go Oregon at 3. I would go Penn State at 4 then. That's fine if you want Miami at 5 and Georgia at 6. Texas, at 7. I would Notre Dame at 8, That's fine. In terms of the top 10, I would have Oklahoma at 10, and at 9, I would have Florida State. Yes, everyone's going to give me crap because I said Florida State. How do you put Florida State
they jumped
at
4
14?
positions? Who did they play this week?
They played no one, and they scored a lot of points. That's what they did. But there was no Alabama hangover part D. So I'm fine with this. I would have Oklahoma higher. I think John Mateer makes all the difference in the world. I would definitely have Oklahoma above Clemson. I would rank. I would have kept Florida ranked. I would have ranked Georgia Tech. And I would have from the rankings, me personally, I would have dropped Michigan from the ranking.
Me too.
And I would not yet have ranked Missouri. Missouri just needs that one more win.
Got it. Over, and those would be your 2 out, 2 in, 2 out.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I think definitely Florida State is overranked currently. We'll see if they change, but I think that Gus Malzahn hiring is making all the difference for them.
Absolutely. Okay, so we are now on to parlay time. It's been an hour and 15 minutes of pure fun and delight.
Mostly Micaiah talking.
Mostly Micaiah talking. Hopefully you're not watching me while you talk, or hopefully if you are watching me, you have me muted. Covered that at the beginning of the episode. So what's the game of the week again, bud? What did you say it was?
The 4th and 1 game of the week is the game that's on CW. Sorry, I don't have it up.
That's right. South Florida, Miami.
South Florida, Miami.
So $30 are on the line. No, again, just our father entered and got it wrong. So $30 on the line. Click the link below. Go there. Put in your email. Right now, if you're the only person to enter, guess what? You're probably going to, and you get it right. You pick the game right.
You get bragging rights, at least.
You're probably also going to win $30.
You're welcome
That's
for a tank
it.
of gas. It's a tank of gas in Pennsylvania.
That's a tank of gas right now. Okay? So go win $30. And listen, take our picks or go against us if you think we're dumb. Take Miami if you think we're smart and you know nothing about college football. Take Miami and you'll win, maybe. Or go against us and pick South Florida and you might win. Again, if we have multiple entries, we pick them at random, we put them in a wheel, we spin the wheel. We would do all of that online so everyone could see it. Go enter. I'm giving away free money. My own money. Just call me Pat McAfee, but with a lot less cash.
We're not giving away $200,000.
We're not giving away $200,000. I'm sure his wife had a talking to and said, stop doubling it before anyone kicks the ball, as he has done the last 2 weeks. All right, Simeon, what is your leg this week in the parlay?
Listen, I broke our leg last week.
You did. You did. I was very disappointed.
Makai was disappointed, rightly so. Allowed to make fun of me. I'm surprised he didn't already.
I was going to win. I bet $295. I was going to win $18.
You're welcome. Well, I guess you're not welcome. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're
that's
welcome
all right.
To whoever your sports book is, who we will not be mentioning because we want your money. If you want us to mention you,
give us your money.
Yeah,
money, please.
So layup that actually will make you money. Layup.
Okay.
Because I wanted to take Oregon minus 10,000. That would get you exactly 1 cent if you bet $1.
Yeah.
So we're not doing that. You will be betting minus 1,800 for Alabama straight up to beat Wisconsin.
Okay.
Because listen, when you can't hit the 3, you just go dribble, layup. Okay?
Yeah. Yep. We're just looking for layups.
When you can't take it over the top, turn around and hand the ball off to Ollie Gordon. Okay? That's what you do.
Ollie Gordon the first year, not the second year, because the second year it didn't work out.
Or Miami Ollie Gordon. Looked great preseason. Did pretty well.
Sure.
Backing up,
did not look good week 1.
Well, he didn't run the ball week 1. I have him in one of my leagues. He didn't get to do anything.
The 4th and 1 game of the week actually comes from our second leg, and that is Robert's leg, who is on the greatest place on earth, Disney World right now.
Oh, that's right. He takes his Disney vacation.
He is.
There it is.
Has South Florida at 16.5. What I'm going to do is the line's at 17.5 right now, so I'm getting that. He is betting South Florida, diving back into that bag, taking a page from Captain's book, and he is betting South Florida plus 17.5. So right now we have that. By the way,
16.
You're getting at 16. Okay. It's either 16 or 17.5. we'll pick whatever's on FanDuel. Do you have it on FanDuel right now?
Yeah, I have it on FanDuel.
So do you have? Are just put them in because I want the overall odds at the end of the game. Okay.
Yeah, I am. I mean, I forgot to make my bet last week, so I'm making it this week.
Okay. Great. Finally, it's gonna be me.
It's gonna be me.
It's gonna be me. Clemson's on the road, and I'm not impressed with their offense. Against Georgia Tech, who likes to run the ball, Clemson's defense looks good. Give me Georgia Tech to cover the 9.5. Okay. It's what?
I had to find out where the game was.
Okay. I
Georgia
love
Tech
the
plus 3.5. Or
Georgia Tech
outright.
Georgia Tech plus 9.5, not 3.5.
That's
If it
3.5 now.
What?
On FanDuel, it's 3.5.
On FanDuel, Georgia. Wait, on FanDuel, it's what?
3.5.
3.5.
See if it does it. Come on, focus on me. It's not doing it. It won't focus. It's 3.5.
Okay. Well, then I don't want that. Okay, that changes my pick. I'm changing on the fly here. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go the over. Central Michigan over. What do you have on? 41.5. I love that. I think it's a 37-10 type game again. Give me Michigan the over 41.5 against Central Michigan.
And you're basically doubling your money. It's
okay,
plus
great.
It's plus 294.
I love that. We are doing layups, everybody. Let's get going and let's win these people some money. We won week 1. We lost week 2. We're going to get back on the board here in week 3.
Happens.
I want to say thank you, everyone, for listening. Go ahead and like and subscribe, share. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. Thank you for listening. We do this for you, the fans. I appreciate it. We'll see you next week. Enjoy your college football Saturday. Enjoy your beach vacations if you're on them. Bye-bye.